Hello, everyone. Welcome to Weekly Manga Recap. It is January the 12th of 2022. And we don't really have a lot for you today. There were only like 3 series in the past week. So I guess that we'll be in and out of here really, really quickly. And
Not so fast,
yep, so,
Nick.
What?
A veto has been used. If you left last week before we gave the credits and everything, you might have missed that the veto in the bank is being used. This briefcase has seen better days. And now a series is coming back to the recap.
A few too many emphatic bangs to the side of it.
Boom, boom, boom. Hey, we're still holding in there. We're still holding in.
Yeah, so I don't know. I can't remember if I actually just forgot about that or if I was just trying to will it out of existence by moving on quickly when I can.
Because we can't spend 2 hours talking about Eden Zero. We just can't. There's not that many butts.
In this chapter.
Well, I mean, you can spend an hour and a half on the title page alone, but after that, you're like, oh,
there's got to be a discussion about that at some point. Yes.
Yeah, sure. So, in lieu of that, what we are going to do is I have told Nick what's going to happen is a series from Monthly Other Recap is going to come into the podcast, but I am going to let him have a say in what series that is. So I'm going to talk to you about all the series that are a Monthly Other Recap. And at the end of this, Nick, you are going to pick the series that goes into our regular recap.
All right. I'm going to, if I'm going to make such a momentous decision, I'm going to open up a spreadsheet so that I can, so that I can like keep track of, some of my thoughts. So I don't have Excel installed on my desktop. Hang on.
You're like, I have to pop open Notepad, I guess.
Let me open up Google Drive, which lets me do the same thing for free. Okay.
All right.
Although, albeit without certain functionality, honestly, get on that Google. Like, I mean, I know that, like, if you installed everything on there, then people would just have no reason to ever install Microsoft Office stuff if they could just have access to Google stuff. But, I mean, sometimes, like, I don't have internet access anyway, so then I can't use it. Actually, you know what? Improve the offline mode of your Google stuff. And then, okay, this is, look, I'm a dork who uses office tools in order to prepare things, okay? That's my point.
There's nothing dorky about that.
Anyway, so I need to set up a score. I need to set up a scoring formula, so that it'll calculate what I feel is the best series.
Okay.
That's how I make decisions.
Okay. It should be ranked on coolness factor.
Okay, that's actually a good one. Yeah.
Originality, not necessarily for the premise, but for what it brings to the recap, is certainly a thing.
Sure. That's unique qualities that it could bring that other series that we cover don't. So.
The pitch. I mean, how I pitch this to you should be relevant for how it gets added into this.
Otherwise, what are we bothering to do all this for?
Exactly.
So I could just say no, we're not doing any of the series I currently dislike. But
X Factor, which means
whatever we want it to.
A D12 will be rolled and applied to each score randomly. I'm like, shit, that 12 for my Mission Yozakura family really threw me off track. That really fucked things up.
Oh no! I mean, I really didn't want High School Family to be my choice, but it rolled really well.
The X Factor was crazy on that one.
The it quality, you gotta throw in all those WWE buzzwords for when they, choose contestants on their reality show.
Yeah, it should be a category for
The Miz just voted for.
Good.
Yeah, the Miz just voted for someone because he thought she was hot. So there's that.
Yeah, I was gonna say you gotta have a category in there for when Christy Hemme decides to smash her butt into a pie and say her butt was so hungry from chewing on her thong all day or something like that.
I don't remember that. I do. I do remember.
I just weirdly remember. I was like, "What the hell?" Am like even as like a horny teenager, I was like, "What the hell am I watching?"
Is she the same person who did the? She called one of the contestants a cum hungry gutter slut.
Probably.
I think she.
That sounds about
it's
right.
Like just
just
outrageously, horrendously vulgar stuff.
The first Diva search was wild. Looking back at it, that thing was fucking bonkers. It was around, I feel like it was around the same time as the HLA storyline, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So it was pure peak trash television WWE.
Storyline.
They paid 2 hot women to make out in the ring before someone could beat them up. That was the storyline. Oh man, it really colors your perception of everything to think back to those times.
Well, they had to balance out all the Billy and Chuck stuff where people would be grossed out by the gay undertones before beating them up. So
got it.
Anyway.
So Nick, on that tangent, I want to kick us off by talking about maybe your most beloved series that you're most anticipated for coming back. Ayakashi Triangle, Nick.
Okay. Well, so
Nick, do you like giant knockers placed on people who are of questionable age?
Well, I mean, I was going to say good things until you said the second part, and
Nick, do you like jerking off? Because the series is probably good for that.
Look, we're both in our 30s now.
Don't tell
the
me.
older that we get and the longer we do this show, the less I feel okay with talking about certain things. Like the older I get, the more that old line, I get older, but the high school girls say the same, or however the hell that line is delivered. The more that line creeps me out.
Oh yeah,
because like I don't. Yeah, well, yeah, in a way that I never did before.
But you're like, I'm becoming you, but without the actual attraction to the teenagers part.
It's the like I don't want to like have to like. We gave it a good try. Last
hold
year,
on, Nick.
So
hold your horses, Nick, because I might turn you all around on this series. First and foremost, what would I say?
I don't think you will,
what?
But I will explain why after you're done with your pitch.
Okay. So. Well, remember, got to keep track of the X Factor, which was a 13. I don't even know how on a D12, but that's gonna really mess the numbers up later. What would you say though if I said the Ayakashi Triangle has one of the most prominent and relevant female leads in Shonen Jump that's not Fuko?
I believe that you must be referring then to Suzu.
Yes.
Okay. I would say I believe you because we did read it for a time. And she was taking a more and more active role as we were going through it, both in terms of doing stuff in terms of like helping out with the exorcism of the Ayakashis, taking on duties as the medium, and also a more active role in trying to get Matsuri in fucking bed with her and just go to town on those titties, slash that dick, whatever form you happen to be in at the time.
So that's a big factor in it. I mean, you can't say this is a Jump series with a female lead does nothing.
That's true. She does things.
Yeah, exactly.
Many of which are horny things, but she does things.
She does things. She also has a defining character gimmick in that she likes desserts, which
that's true.
Yeah, unique character gimmick. Look, I'm just gonna start throwing out names. That. I'm just start throwing out names. You tell me if they're more relevant than Suzu.
Okay.
Ochako or Uraraka, whatever the fuck her name is.
Oh, that's like a really sad. She's not.
Exactly.
It's like she should be, but she's not.
I'm gonna throw out fuck, I forgot her name.
Oh, good. It's a good sign.
Lemon. We'll throw out Lemon.
What series is she from again?
Mashal.
Oh, right. I guess that's your answer right there. You forgot one half of it. I forgot the other half. No.
What about the spear girl from Elusive Samurai, whose name I've also forgotten in this moment?
It's Ayako.
Ayako.
Well, but, she's not supposed to be, like, the second most important character in the series, at least. Like, she's probably supposed to be, like, fourth most important. Look, she doesn't have... Well, honestly, Ayakashi Triangle's not that much older than Elusive Samurai, so you may have a point there.
I'm just saying. Maybe it's there. I was about to do the Sean O'Hara, like, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know.
I mean, considering that I haven't read most of these things, then I don't think you're going to have much other chance to actually use that line. So.
Exactly. Also, when I originally planned to do this bit, I was going to spend the previous episode. I don't even know if you were watching or remember this promo, but it was before Vince McMahon brought the NWO back into WWE.
Oh,
there was
right.
a long episode where he just kept cutting to vignettes of him in an office chair. And he'd be like, I
looking in the
have
mirror.
infected a poison into this company. You don't even realize he's in a mirror. You see him like, I've infected this. And then he's like, I will cleanse this poison. Me. And he turns his chair around and it says, and the NWO. It says NWO on the back. I was going to do that and write MOR on the back of my chair. And I couldn't. I tried it twice. I was like, I don't know how to write this shit backwards. And it just became too much work. And I stopped because I was going to spend the whole episode randomly quoting different lines like, poison's in this podcast and I have to clear it out.
I mean, what the fuck are you talking about, Chris?
Yeah, I was going to say most people were going to be, what the hell is going on?
And I'd be like, oh, it's the one promo from the thing that I've never watched.
And Nick, here's the good part about Ayakashi Triangle. The best part, you could say. It's almost never relevant. Half the time, you don't even need... It's just a horny chapter. And then you get to the end and it's done. Dust it off, clear it out, you're ready to go home. Get to bed a little bit sooner, And hey, extra special bonus. You couldn't even have talked about this week's chapter if you wanted to. Because it's not there. Viz didn't publish it. No one published it. It is actually officially untranslatable. For some reason. We don't know why. I checked out the chapter. It's not that bad, at least in comparison to everything else that's in there. So I physically do not know why they did not translate that chapter, and Viz has not said anything. So it's an interesting world we're in right now. You never know what you're going to get with Ayakashi Triangle.
Are you sure that you were logged into Viz when you checked?
It's not there. You cannot find chapter 74 there. You cannot find it on Manga Plus. There is no official English translation of chapter 74 for Ayakashi Triangle right now.
Huh.
Yeah.
Curious.
Again, I did read the chapter.
Oh, well, okay. There's boobs on the second page. Okay, so
come on. It's gonna be boobs and everything. We don't know. As I said, there's currently no active word as to why it wasn't released. But the next chapter's supposed to come out, so still have it. Just that one.
All right then.
Too hot for TV. There's also a black cat cameo, and I was like, maybe it's a rights issue, and I was like, but they translate Black Cat. It's available
have Black
in the
Cat.
vault.
Yeah.
So it's like that can't be it.
I don't know. All right. Well, I guess is that the extent of your pitch?
Yeah, that's my pitch, Nick. You don't have to give me your answer right now.
Well, I'm not going to give you my answer right now, but I will reveal something.
Okay.
I got caught up with Ayakashi Triangle before that chapter that wasn't published came out. It's just something that I decided to do, and it might be something I continue to do just every couple of months, just read it so that I can, not just go chapter by chapter. Well, there was some horny stuff in this chapter and nothing else happened. And I will say, the actual plot stuff that happens is really nice. But that doesn't change the reason that we stopped reading the series. So. or stopped covering the series for the show. So, and well, I'll talk more about it at the end when I guess announce my input, so to speak.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for that one. We're going to move right on to a series that I think, Nick, you're itching. You're ready and raring for the chance to talk about this series again. Ayashimon, Nick. I know the last time that you've had a little bit of a mixed relationship with this series, got off on the wrong foot.
Mixed?
So some feelings were hurt. Some things were said that shouldn't have been said on both parties' ends. I think we could both agree as adults that that's what happened.
Was Ayashimon saying shit about me? Because, I mean...
You didn't read chapter 6. It said a couple things about... It's not you, but the caricature is enough that it's clearly about you. But again, that was chapter 6. We're on chapter 7 now. It's a different time. It's matured.
Come on, guys. Let's just start a new chapter. Like we do every week.
Now I'm just saying, Nick, you may have not liked Ayashimon, which is fair. Some stuff doesn't click with some people. But come on. We all know this is coming back in the recap eventually, right? Like, we all know it's eventually coming back. Come on, what are we kidding ourselves for? You could make this decision now and then not have to make it later.
It's not a good argument.
I'm saying it's got all the X factors. Characters that hurt each other, violence, blood, conflict, character designs are a little bit rough and scratchy. The pseudo promise of maybe more too hot for cover page art at some point in time. Much like
did that happen?
No, but I'm just saying it could be the next Chainsaw Man, Nick. You never know.
Look, just because we all have a Chainsaw Man hole shape in our hearts right now, Chainsaw Man shaped hole in our hearts, doesn't mean that we need to fill it with something, considering that Chainsaw Man is going to eventually presumably come back, probably in some form of like conjunction with the anime that's coming out. But anyway.
Yeah. I'm just saying you might enjoy the series now that 3 more chapters have come out and fundamentally nothing about the series has changed from your initial impression of it.
I don't know. Maybe
no one's head has comically exploded since then, I don't think.
Well, no, because that was one chapter's lazy running joke. We have to move on to the other lazy running jokes.
As a character, he doesn't wear a shirt. She's pretty cool. She's like a jacket on, but no shirt. It's a real power move. This is a girl boss kind of series, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, the girl is literally the main character's boss.
Exactly. Point proven.
Is that good or bad? Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I guess.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's year 2020. It's all about girl bosses, Nick.
Is it?
Yeah. I'm sure there's a music song about this right now or something like that if I was more in touch with what things are currently going on, it would make more sense. But I'm not, and I think that you should just appreciate a good girl boss.
So, I don't have anything to say to this. I don't want to make it too obvious that I don't want to pick this one. So,
but the X Factor vote could be huge. Hold on. That was a 4, so it's not great. But with the double X Factor triple bonus, it's a 17.
I don't know how I feel about this X Factor idea.
Also, it doesn't help. I'm not rolling dice. I just throw things that are across my desk. That was a lighter I threw. So, it's a crazy world.
All right, time for the X Factor. Boom.
The X Factor is all about changing things up, Nick. It's like that one TNA match where it was like one box contains the Women's World Championship, one box It means you're fired and you don't know which one is which. You're like, this match sucks.
Did you ever hear about the idea that apparently Vince Russo wanted that to be a shoot? Like he wanted
to actually fire the person.
He wanted the cases to actually randomly fire someone. Yeah.
Would it also randomly determine the champion?
Presumably, yeah.
And randomly chose who got bit by a spider or something like that, I think was one of them. And then the other one, I think was empty or something. Oh, man. Good times.
If it comes out of a box, it's over. Yeah. So.
All right. Let's move on, Nick, to a series that I think you are eager. You are waiting in the wings. You are salivating to talk about.
I know it's coming next, but you fooled me once before, so.
Do you think you know what's going next?
I mean, if you're going alphabetically, I think I know what's going next.
Well, X Factor just moved that series further down the lineup. We're talking about Dragon Ball Super now, Nick.
We are?
Dragon Ball Super. It's in monthly other recap. We're going to talk about it here. Nick, what shonen Jump manga podcast are we if we don't regularly talk about Dragon Ball?
A weekly one.
Well, we talk about monthly series as well.
Yeah, but that's like my main go-to answer. It's just because it's just
look, if we're going to talk about fucking garbage like Boruto week to week, we can talk about another type of garbage like Dragon Ball Super.
I hear people freaking out about this series all the time.
I mean, look, it does exciting things. Some would say the exciting thing they're doing is retroactively destroying things about the Dragon Ball universe that were loved and appreciated. But hey, let bygones be bygones. We're also introducing new elements to the universe, changing things up. A living X Factor, if you will, because you never know what's going to happen next. We got to find a way to make sure Goku's the strongest until he's not. Something stronger has come up, and now it's the same thing all over again. We got to deal with it all over again. Goku's got to train. And Vegeta won't do anything. I need to establish there is a clear pacing to Dragon Ball Super. It is a new problem arises. Goku and Vegeta go to fight it. They both lose. They both decide to get stronger. Vegeta tries to solve this problem first. He loses. Goku solves it and saves the day. It's really Vegeta will never do anything. He will just kind of exist there to the side.
Oh, Vegeta, you've become Brutus Beefcake.
I mean, he gets some kind of character development. He is there. He does get developments. He does get to power up and look stronger. He will never beat the big boss, though. That's never going to happen.
Wasn't that kind of the point of Vegeta originally, as Toriyama likes to tell? Is like, no, you're not supposed to like Vegeta.
Yeah. Well, look, all right. So
you're not supposed to cheer for him. I'm gonna have him lose again.
I mean, now he's definitely like gone through a full character rework where they've given him like morality pets to kind of take care of. Like there was a multi-universe fight at one point. And another universe had like a Saiyan who didn't have pride. So Vegeta kind of took him under his wing and is like, you need Saiyan pride. I shall give it to you. And like tries to like, like almost like mentor him. And when that kid gets knocked out.
You're like the son I've never had.
Trunks in another universe like, why did my heart just hurt so bad right there? I'm just saying.
Admittedly, I would already be familiar with the characters to the most.
You wouldn't have to learn anybody.
As a bonus, I would get caught up on all of the waifus that people gush over nowadays from the series.
Are there waifus? Oh, I think those are mostly anime specific ones.
Oh, fine. Well,
I was gonna say if it's the one who's green with white hair, she's movie only at this point.
I'm not familiar with that one. So
okay. Who's the other one?
What is her name? Vados, I think it is. The blue girl.
Oh, I think that might be the video game only one.
I thought Android 21 was the video game one.
Maybe she is. Oh, no, okay. Jesus. I'm sorry, I should not have been safe search off.
I was gonna say, well, that's why I said the wife who everyone's gushing over.
Look, you know what? You might not have been wrong. It stole my breath away. There'd be another reason. Look, she's already gone from the series at this point. Maybe she'll come back. She could come back. Universe, I think she's Universe 6, right? So yeah, she could come back at any moment because Universe 6 is important.
Okay, I'm legitimately asking this.
Okay.
So, I haven't watched the Super anime. I keep on meaning to, but I haven't. But I am familiar with a number of the different things that it did. Some of them are cool. And one of the things that obviously stood out to a lot of people and did in fact stand out to me was cauliflower and kale.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are they in the manga at all?
Yeah, so the arc that you're talking about is called the Tournament of Power arc, and that is an arc in both the anime and the manga. The manga version is a lot shorter, so while Kale and Caulifla, I think, or whatever her name is, and then they turn into Kefla or something like that.
Yeah.
They are in the manga. Their role is a little bit smaller.
Okay.
The anime had more time to like stretch everything out. I feel like they lose in a completely different way. The anime fight scene with them is fucking top-notch baller. The fight with eventually Kefla and Goku. I feel like
Goku like skates along the beam.
Yeah, with Kamehameha. It's awesome. It's one of the coolest things ever. I think in the manga, I feel like Gohan beats them, or like double KOs with them. The manga had to shorten a lot of things, so a lot of characters who actually got cool development during the Tournament of Power just kind of knock each other out because like we don't have time for any of this.
The manga is kind of a weird thing in terms of how it condenses stuff like that. I remember back in the day, I did a series of quick reviews for Anime News Network, and Volume 1 of Dragon Ball Super was one of the things that we were asked to cover. And I was just like, this is terrible. Because it's so compressed.
Yeah.
Like, it literally at one point just goes like, and Frieza invaded. To find out how that went, watch Resurrection
I mean,
F.
at least with that one, they told you to watch a movie. Because I was going to say, they change stuff around constantly. And you never really know what you're going to get. Because some arcs, it's like, yeah, like the Battle of the Gods or whatever that thing was. Like, that is pretty truncated and short. But then you get, like, other ones where I'm like, I mean, I haven't watched the full span of the, I don't know what you call it, the Goku Black arc or whatever. But I was like, that's a pretty sizable story in the manga. So if it's like a 1-for-1 recreation of it, I don't know. And now it's just full-on original material because they haven't done any new anime in a while. So everything after the Tournament of Power has been completely original, and it's basically been 2 pretty significant arcs since then. And you know what? Jacko the Galactic Patrolman is an important character. I have heard
about that. Yeah. So, give the.
And I bet there's suggestive porn of him out there too. You know.
Probably.
Certainly.
Okay. All right. You know what? That is actually a pretty good pitch, Chris. And I'm not just saying that because you ended on the note of suggestive Jocko porn. But I mean, look, if we did cover Dragon Ball Super, then occasionally we would have something to talk about that we wouldn't otherwise. So there, yeah.
Exactly. Now, this next series, though, I know you were clamoring for this one. You cannot wait to talk about this series.
Are we just gonna like? Hold on.
Nick, this next series, I know you can't wait to talk about this one again. 7 Deadly Sins, 4 Nights of the Apocalypse.
Oh, okay.
A series that has only recently been added to Monthly Other Recap to much fanfare. Yeah.
With exactly that sound effect.
Exactly. That's how it came in. So you remember 4 Nights of the Apocalypse when we talked about it originally. What if I was to say to you, it's still going?
I would not be surprised.
It's still going. Look, I think when we read it, it was like 13 chapters. It's not like 45 chapters. So it's not like a ton's happened since we talked about it.
It was definitely a thing where at the time, we were like, I liked it. Gonna wait a little while before we talk about it in the future because don't know. It doesn't seem like it's really started getting into. It still seems to be in first gear right now, basically. So maybe we should wait for it to get going.
I will say, since it's come back, it is fully fledged. A lot of its premise. There is a 4-person group now of characters. You remember Percival, the main character, and I think you remember Donnie, who was the guy from the circus who joins them, and he has like flotation powers.
I think that he might have been getting introduced when at the point we read it.
I think when we read it, Nason's was the one who was about to get introduced. He had a hat and he like mixed poisons and stuff like that.
Oh, you mean the traveling circus?
Yeah, the traveling circus
across
guy.
The beginning. Okay, I'm remembering that now.
Well, they've also added a new character, girl Anne, who she has swords powers, and also she can tell when people are lying by a malevolent aura around them. She can tell when they're hiding things.
So she's Girl Yuma.
Yeah, except it's more like you can't. I don't know if she can specifically tell when they're lying, or she just knows when they're distrustful people. Anyway, It's interesting. They bounce off each other relatively well. They're a young group of characters, so they're not like the crazy gods that basically occupied the start of the Seven Deadly Sins universe, but they're all still powerful, and they use their techniques in interesting ways. And it's not a particularly long series. It's relatively easy to catch up on, and it's been fun. There's been a lot of good short miniature adventures. Stories usually don't run longer than like 10 chapters or so, and we've gotten some interesting arcs out of them.
Yeah, fair enough. If like
and this might be a spoiler, so close your ears if you don't want to hear a spoiler. We have run into Nick, you need to hear it. We have run into the first member of the Seven Deadly Sins cast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it one of the mascots?
No, it's not one of the actual Seven Deadly Sins themselves.
Okay. I'm sorry. Whenever I think of cross creator series crossovers, the first thing that comes to mind is just Plu showing up in all of Heroes.
Is Plu in fucking Eden Zero somewhere?
He's shown up a couple of times, I think.
Was he just a dog on a planet?
It's always like
like that?
Something like that. It's always like brief one-off appearances. Okay. So
there we go.
And also Happy.
Yeah, well, Happy. Come on. You can't let a design like that go away. I'll just say, it's fun time, Nick. A lot of adventures.
Cool.
Yeah. Right. Now, this next series, Nick, I know this is a true thing. The rest of them were kind of facetious. This one I know for an actual fact you have been eager to talk about again, because
I think I know what you're going to bring up now.
It left the recap, and since then, it has changed the world. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about the hit mainstream manga, High School Family.
I know what letter comes after F in the series that we're going to talk about.
X Factor. I'm switching everything up now. I'm just going to move stuff around. I don't even know what's going to be next now. High School Family, Nick. Everyone, look, I know you had your problems with this series originally, and you were like, it's not that funny. And I would say, yeah, it's still not that funny, more or less. But it's also weirdly become a sports manga, which is something we don't really have in the recap right now. It's the closest thing we have to a sports manga kind of at the moment. Some of the most recent chapters have kind of just even taken the joke out of it, because the joke's kind of supposed to be the dad's on the volleyball team. It's like, oh, he's really good, but he's so old. And I kind of just stopped even focusing on the he's old part. Now they're just playing volleyball.
I will say this. Hang on. Who was the person who wrote this?
Ryo Nakama?
Right. So if Nakama... If Nakama's whole aim was just, I'm going to do a dopey comedy series because that's what people expect from me and my art style, and really it was a Trojan horse to get a sports manga.
I will say this. The 4 principal characters, 3 of them are involved in a major sport right now. The dad's in volleyball, the son's playing tennis, and the little girl is in the shogi club. And they give ample focus. The mom has like a side thing where sometimes she is on the diving team, but I mean, come on, she's a girl in Shonen Jump. We can't give that much attention to her. She gonna do.
So is the daughter.
I know, but she's young. You can tell jokes, I guess, with that. They're just like, a woman over 40. There's no jokes to be made about that. That's just sad.
How very disheartening.
It's kind of funny though, because it's unfortunately a little true, right? Anyways, High School Family, Nick. It has a cat in it, and every week could have us talking about it. It's a good ass cat.
It's not a good ass cat.
Actually, new category. I want to put it in there. A new category in your ranking. You got to put the good ass cat category. This series gets a 10 because it has a pretty good ass cat. He shits in the principal's office, which is pretty funny.
First off, it would be category. So
put that in there too. I'll put a spooky pun category as well. So if we get like a boo or something like that in there, we can just add extra points. And then put the times X factor multiplier next to it, because that really should be how we decide these metrics.
Let's do that. And then
Boo family. It's right there.
No. So
gotta give it 5 points.
X
factor.
Okay. Yeah. So I have read some chapters of High School Family beyond like the initial 3 that we did. Part of it was so that I could cover it in the video. And part of it was just like, is this series ever going to actually get funny? And I read it a little bit longer, and it did not. So, I mean, I guess if people want me to, explain jokes with the hope draining from my voice and face and soul, then I guess that'd be a reason to add the series to the recap. That said, I don't think this is going to be the series that I'm least enthusiastic about potentially adding. I just got a feeling. So.
Ooh. Well, all right. Before we get to that, I think I know the one you're least excited to add into the recap. But before we get to that,
okay.
I wanna get to the series that I think you're really excited to add this one back into it. I've had a sense.
Yeah.
I've had a sense. This one you're super excited about.
Yes.
It's PPPPPP. Nick, before you start laughing and dismissing this series, let me go on the record. I'm gonna look straight at you, straight at the camera, and I'm gonna say, without exaggeration, without a hint of irony, with every drop of blood in my body, I look forward to reading this series each week. It has gotten good.
Okay.
There you go.
That's a very impassioned pitch. I will give you credit for that.
I'm saying that right now. This series is dumb at points. It is pretty bad at points.
Okay.
And it is phenomenal at points. It is a weird mishmash. The series has taken a while to figure out what it wants to do. The dad is comedically evil. He just keeps slapping his kids until eventually one of his kids just bites his hand, and suddenly all of the tension in that character is deflated. But it works because you're like, I like this girl now. She's the best. I want to see her do everything. It's a wild ride. There's a kid who tries to kidnap people, and he apparently showed up in the manga at some point. He was, I guess, in the first chapter. I don't remember him. Another character just shows up, and he's important. You're like, I don't remember who you are. But despite the fact that I don't know you, I'm getting emotionally invested in some of your storylines. And I don't know, Nick. It's kind of awesome.
I have to give you a tremendous amount of credit for that pitch. It's a very, it sounds like it would be a wild ride if we did pick it up.
Yeah. And it's almost certainly about to get canceled. So
that's the thing, is I think that if we do pick it up, we're just going to have to choose another one anyway. So.
It's a great series, though. I highly recommend people read it because
Okay.
it definitely blindsides you at times. So it's a lot of fun. Okay, now this one you really are pretty excited, I think, about reading again, Nick. This is one I think you've even told me in private you're pretty excited to check this one out.
I'm not sure
again.
What's next now.
Well, I mixed everything up. I X factored it. I mixed everything up.
That's true.
I don't know what's next. I just open it up and then I start talking.
Okay, so, but you know that I've been excited about it.
Yeah, on this one because I could see it. I could see the picture now right in front of me, and I know that you have talked about this series in particular. You're like, I really like that series. I'd like to talk about on the recap, and that series, of course, is Sakamoto Days, Nick. Now.
Forgot about this manga until just now.
Why
did you remind me about this manga? I was happy not thinking about it every week.
Hold on.
And
I might change your entire mind, Nick. So I will say this. I'm a proud person, but I am not too proud to admit when I was wrong. I was not wrong about the first 3 chapters of Sakamoto Days. They suck cock. They're awful. They're really, really bad. However, since then, Sakamoto Days has truly become one of the most dynamic and visceral action series in Jump right now. And I would not be overselling it to say it has been one of the most consistently exciting series in Jump every single week right now. It is hard to imagine based off the first 3 chapters because they weren't very good and they didn't do a lot of cool things. But after about 7 or 8 chapters, the action, maron. It's fantastic, Nick. You got to read it. You got to check it out. At one point, Sakamoto is in an amusement park fighting a guy in like a haunted house, and he punches him so hard the 2 of them like fly into a seat in the Ferris wheel, and they're already sitting, and he's like, let's have a conversation. You're like, motherfucker, you just punched this man across the fucking amusement park. How did you do this? It's awesome. It's got a little bit of Replica Rabbit, just add it. It's got a little bit of that undead unluck effect where you're like, look, I didn't think it was that good off the beginning, but this series found its lane and it is running in it hard. Also, one of the bad guys' name is Slur, which is deeply uncomfortable to say, but you know he's a bad guy because his name is Slur. Also, there's a deer man.
Don't like Sakamoto's face.
All the time, or
I just like I'm just kind of like flipping through some recent chapters and really don't like that face just popping in, just being there.
But what about if I told you there's an old man who has currently been getting his peanuts and he's been slashing his way through everything?
Does he literally get peanuts, or
no, not yet? But he cut. So the Tokyo Tower was about to fall, and he because it like lost a little bit of its like foundation, I guess, like a chunk of it got taken out. So the old man came up and cut off another piece of it, so everything just fell and stayed level, so it didn't topple over. And he just fucking left because he was like, "I have nothing more to do here. I'm leaving now."
Good.
I would say this, if you want to talk about action each and every week, if you want to talk about crazy fights and all sorts of nonsense, Sakamoto Days is a series you should be considering.
I don't know. I mean, like, don't we primarily talk about action series on this show?
That is true. Look, I didn't say you had to give it a 10 in an originality spectrum. I'm just saying.
I did not.
Just saying. Also, you can give it a 15 because again, X Factor. The points don't matter really. I guess they do for you.
That's true.
In my mind, you can put anything you want in any category. It just times them all and just see how big the numbers get.
And that's an infinity. Ooh.
And then the next category, you give it an infinity +1.
Yeah, I take the 8 and I turn it outside.
I will say
now it's an infinity.
Yeah. I'll say this as well. Had one of my favorite fights of last year when Shin and Hisuke fight the Invisible Man. It is actually a much more interesting fight than you'd imagine of an invisible person fighting one guy who has mind control or mind reading and another guy who is just a really good sniper. It's actually a deeply compelling fight, and it was pretty awesome.
All right.
Oh, and a character called Dump showed up recently. She's dead now, though.
Oh, well,
yeah.
I was gonna bump up your pitch score just for bringing that up, but now I was like, no.
Dump can't hang around. Hey, Nick, like all dumps, she had to go away at the end. You can't keep your dump.
Just put that on your quotes page.
I have a t-shirt that says it. It's attributed to me, but then I started getting weird looks, so I attributed it to Maya Angelou instead. And now people look at it with a little bit more respect.
Oh, wow, really? Wow, she really knew what was up, didn't she?
She knew everything that was going on.
You really can't keep your dump. Wow.
You can't keep them all forever. You know what? Actually, that's a good point. I gotta find this shot because there's a particular chapter and a particular scene that I feel like you should see, and then you can judge. Actually, no, this is a bad idea. Nick's gonna look at it and be like, whatever, because you're not gonna know any of the characters, even though Dump's one of the characters in it. Let me see. No, not that chapter. It's too many chapters of this fucking series.
It's only 50 chapters.
I know, but I had to. Oh, there we go. Chapter 43, Nick. If you go to pages 18 and 19, I want you to check that out.
All right,
just look at the art in that.
Let me just log in. I wasn't logged in.
Say your password out loud. Nick.
Butts and
forever. That's your pirate name is Nick Beard.
It's in chapter 43, right?
43, yeah.
All right, and let's get out of the way. Stop popping up password notification. I don't want you to save it. All right, I'm loading up the page. There's an echidna being thought of on this first page.
Yeah. See, there's marsupials in this series as well.
Yeah, but you don't see its penis, so what's the point?
Hey, if you're looking for echidna penis, Nick, I've got some good words for you. If you type Knuckles and the words you're interested in into Google and take Sync search off, you're going to find a lot of interesting results. Knuckles will be pregnant in 98% of them. So you're going to see some interesting things.
Oh, well, there goes my fucking connection. So I will say, well, I'm trying to get my headphones plugged back in. So she has... so is the person getting cut, or is the person doing the cutting Dump?
The person getting cut is Dump. That's Dump.
Wow.
Being presumably sliced, probably in half. It's not exactly clear, but she's not doing great afterwards.
Okay.
I forget the name of the girl doing the cutting.
She's got very nonplussed expression despite having done that.
She's pretty chill about things. She's part of the League of Assassins and whatnot, so you know. It's good stuff. Anyway,
I like her design for
an
assassin type. So
it's
like a gothic veil, like a gothic bride kind of thing.
Exactly, it's good stuff, you know, and you gotta just appreciate it sometimes. All right, now Nick, for real, this next series is one I know you've been excited to talk about on the recap for a very good reason. For a very good reason, and that is because Nick.
Yeah.
Me and Roboco is weekly manga recap. I don't know how to tell you this. It is simply the manga version of weekly manga recap. It is a series that has an inordinate amount of love and respect for Jump and takes the piss out of it in a loving way every single week. It is a fantastic series.
I mean, I will give you that. I've read in total probably about 20 chapters of this series from various points just to kind of like gauge it and stuff. And yeah, occasionally it does in fact actually get me to laugh. I will say that I am impressed with like the extents it's willing to go to like make its references and actually try and like actually make jokes about the things that it references as opposed to just, you know, hey, here's the thing from another series, like doing a lazy reference, kind of like that. We would never do that. So, do you remember that one time when
right before this started, we just made a noise. We're like, oh, like that sound from Dragon Ball.
Yeah, pretty much. So, um, I feel like I've given this series multiple chances to try and win me over. I don't think that would really happen, but I do appreciate what it does. And I think that there is a nice place for it in Jump. Jump needs to have a gag series.
Yeah,
that's what helps to give it its variety. It doesn't need 2 gag series. So
there's multiple gag series right now.
Just needs the one. So
what's the one?
This one.
Oh, okay, all right. I wasn't sure.
It's the only one it needs.
Oh, so you're saying we don't need Magu-chan in the magazine anymore? I see where your alliances are now, Nick. Kirby in the chant is sobbing at your words. How could you do this, Nick? You were the chosen one. You were going to be the voice of Magu-chan. I didn't tell you. I got the phone call for some reason for that. For the anime that doesn't exist. They already promised the role for you, but you turned your back on Magu-chan.
Magu-chan's not a gag series.
It's a funny series. It's all the same.
That's not a gag series.
One Piece is a gag series. Jujutsu Kaisen is a gag series. It's all a gag series, everybody.
Chainsaw Man's a gag series.
It's JoJo's is a gag series.
The Bones of an Invisible Person is a gag series.
Yeah, that was a joke at one point.
But yeah, no, I was talking shit on some very specific stuff. I will have you know.
Okay.
I will leave it unsaid which ones I'm talking about, but it should be obvious given what I have said about those series before.
True. I'll offer this though. If you want to see one of the most beautiful friendships in manga history, you owe it to yourself to read Me and Roboco, because the friendships between Bondo, Gorilla, and Matsuo, without exaggeration, is one of the most beautiful and sweet friendships I have ever seen in anything. It's so touching and heartwarming how much these little dorks love each other so much. It's great. It's phenomenal. It's A plus 10 out of 10.
And they show their emotions for Bondo in the guise of making fun of him and stuff, but then they're just saying really nice stuff. That's one of my favorite recurring gags in that series, honestly, is that they act like bullies even though they're being really good friends.
Yeah. And we even got a chapter that showcased like the origins of them meeting, and it's a very heartwarming chapter where Bondo is like, oh, I met these cool friends, and they deserted him because they were like, we don't have time for this, and then they saw how loyal he was, and they were like, oh, we too have been judged by preconceived notions. It's very sweet. I love those little dorks. I'm so happy for them.
Oh, that's nice. That sounds nice. Yeah.
All right, Nick. Now this one.
Okay.
I know you're excited to talk about this one. This is a big one. Big one.
I mean, you've been very confident about that for the last several.
Have I been wrong? Don't answer that. But have I been wrong?
I don't know how. Okay.
Blue Box. This is a big one. This is the big one, maybe. This is the biggest. Some say, I don't want to say who it is, but some say this was the biggest miss that WMR has had in a full decade of writing a show, was letting Blue Box go.
Well, we said why, though.
True.
I said that I was like, yeah, I like it, but I don't know if it would be good to cover week to week. And I think that was why we didn't do it. So
I think I was just excited to read about it on Monthly Other Recap, but I will say.
Oh, so you're just happy that you have it all to yourself? Is that what's going on?
I know, it's all for me, Nick. You can't have this one. I won't even talk it up. It's just for me. This is a big series though, Nick. This is one of the most popular series in Jump right now.
It's true.
In a way that baffles and confuses me at every step of the imagination, because while it is a very good series, I am still a little confused as to why it's taken off quite the way it has. But it is a romance series. We don't have a romance series in Weekly Manga Recap right now.
Mm.
It's sports series. We don't really have a sports series. Weekly Jump or Manga Recap right now. It's got 2 female leads who really haven't been sexualized in any way. We don't know that at all, really. You know,
shockingly.
I'll just say it's a good series. It's a lot of these stupid teenagers not understanding their feelings, but you know, it's all good.
I mean, what else do you want from a you know, a long running teen romance plot except for them not understanding their feelings for each other, which prevents them from being happy? Yeah. Like, that's the entire reason you read these things.
Hey, but we're only 35 chapters in, and characters have started to realize their feelings for each other in a more profound way. So it's moving in a direction. I'll say that. It's chugging along. And the chapters...
a romance story that actually progresses relationships between characters.
I would say we have not really had a chapter to this point that's felt superfluous. That's felt like it's just been like, oh, we're here for a joke. Every chapter seems to progress something, even if it's just remotely or slightly. Even if it's just one part of a couple chapters that are going to proceed something forward. It keeps trugging along, you know? Like the little train that could. Thomas the Tank Engine.
That was who that little engine was. You're right.
I thought they were 2 different things for a moment. And I was like, uh-oh.
No,
look like
you're right. Yeah, you're totally correct.
There you go. Blue box, Nick. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, right.
Now this one, I think you're gonna be excited for, Nick. I think this is one you're really gonna want to talk about. Mission Yozakura Family, Nick. Now, hold on. Let me.
Well, you said Nick. What we're talking about actually is the user in our chat whose name is Nick.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about Mission Yozakura Family, Nick. So I'm just gonna start listing off some things about it. It's not very funny.
Oh.
The action in it's not that great. Art style has one trick to it: draw a lot of flowers on shit. So it's not very good there. Art style, otherwise, pretty generic and forgettable. Side characters, pretty boring.
Oh man, it's such a compelling pitch. I mean, you couldn't possibly have any other reason that you're talking about this series in this way, except to get me really excited about the possibility of us talking about it. So yeah, keep on going. Just keep this up. Just keep on going. This
forgettable.
Yeah.
Has this little dog girl thing. Nobody finds her cute. She's awful. She's the worst.
There's a dog girl in this.
It just says dog. Look, because eventually they need whatever the fucking uninteresting leads are. They had to have a kid at some point, but they can't actually have a kid because they're in high school. So they adopted like a little dog thing or something like that.
Okay.
That was like evil for a little bit.
What?
Now it's not.
Didn't they have a dog already?
This is like a dog person though. It's kind of like how Goofy sometimes owns Pluto. Like, it's a little bit weird. But you can't sit on it that long, or else it starts. Is it like
a furry thing,
no, she's like a little girl who has like dog ears and like a dog tail.
So she's a kimono Mimi.
Sure. I guess. I don't know what that is. Why not?
So, in other words, it is a furry thing.
Yeah. I'll say this. There was a cool villain who showed up.
Okay. Yes.
I think I pitched everything I can. So, Nick, how do you feel about adding Mission Yozakura Family to the recap? Now I've sold you on its
give
best
you a 10 or a 0 for your pitch. We'll average out to a 5, I think.
And there's no X Factor for this one. That's how the X Factor works. Sometimes it doesn't work. There's no X Factor at all for this series. So don't give it any X Factor
it's got the lowest score.
Yeah. That's weird. It's unfortunate. I was really hoping every series would have an equal shot in this thing. But, sometimes it doesn't work out for them. You never know.
Oh, my God.
All right. Now, this series, though, this next series. This is the one I know you're eager to talk about, Nick. So we might even... there's still 2 more after this, but I don't think that we're going to have to talk about them, because I think the moment you hear this series, you're going to add this.
What else is there?
Your old favorite, Nick. Protect me, Shugomaru.
All right, you better do a hell of a fucking pitch for this one.
I got one simple word for you, Nick. Yu-Gi-Oh. Did you like the bit? Did you like the bit in the one?
Pardon?
Did you like the one bit in one chapter where Shugomaru was paid off for in Yu-Gi-Oh cards?
Did that happen?
It did. And since then, it is a running gag. Yu-Gi-Oh cards just show up a lot. I mean, like, once in every chapter since then, there's been a Yu-Gi-Oh card reference just shown up in the manga at some point.
Okay, hang on a second. I'm gonna look into this, but go on, keep going.
I really said everything I had to say about this series, Nick. There's a Yu-Gi-Oh card. The principal gets bribed with a Yu-Gi-Oh card at one point. Another character gets bribed with a Yu-Gi-Oh card at one point.
There's just a bunch of dark magician girls on this.
Yeah,
there's a really big copyright situation in Tokyo Konami.
Yeah. There's just every chapter's got to have a little bit of fucking Yu-Gi-Oh in it, just to make things a little fun, just spice it up, similar to the way me and Roboco, except the way you were saying before, where it's just kind of a lazy reference, doesn't do anything. That's what this one does. Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Nick, you love them. You big nerd. You want Yu-Gi-Oh. You want to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh. It's the closest thing you're gonna get in the recap.
This is very disappointing because I looked into it and it's just like they hold up a bunch of Dark Magician Girl things, and then Shugomaru's just like, well, I don't need them because there's no dragons there. And then they just stopped talking about Yu-Gi-Oh to talk about how little boys like dragons.
Yeah.
So you couldn't even name like dragons in Yu-Gi-Oh, which there are, one or two.
Yeah, a couple. Well, previously in other chapters, if he's paid off, it tends to be with a dragon card. So I think that's why. Gotcha. I think the joke is that Shugomaru likes dragon cards.
Which I will say is the most realistic thing in this entire series, because I remember when I was in middle school, there was a small number of people who were kind of into Yu-Gi-Oh at the time because, we were in that age bracket that was just slightly too old for it. But there was a guy who liked Yu-Gi-Oh, but he wasn't willing to say he liked Yu-Gi-Oh, so he just said, I don't play the game. I just like collecting the dragon cards.
It's not a bad philosophy. I'm not gonna lie. It's a real way to go.
So yeah, Shugomaru, very realistic character.
Yeah, exactly. Nick, what monster type would you collect if you collected Yu-Gi-Oh cards? Thunder? I gotcha. Fish? Understood. Aqua? Or something like that?
Keep going. How many can you do?
Sea serpent? Rock? Is it rock just a type?
Yeah.
Isn't there warrior, beast warrior, and beast are three exclusive different types?
Listen, the series was not very well thought out when it was first conceived, and they just kind of had to stick with what it
I do love that aqua, fish, and sea serpent are three different types. They're just like, I guess fine, fuck it. Beast warrior and beast and warrior are just all going to be separate. I'm just dealing with this.
You know how, like, in Pokemon, they added a couple of types after Generation 1, and they changed how some of the type effectivenesses and weaknesses worked. So it was like, okay, yeah, now instead of the 15, we've now also got Dark and Steel. And then it took years for them to add one more, and it's just been that since.
Yes.
So with Yu-Gi-Oh, it took them a while to introduce a new monster type, which was Psychic. And then they just started, like, introducing like way more of them, and there is this thing that's like called like Siberian or something like that for some reason, and there's also like worms, which are basically dragons but not.
Wait, what?
It's one of those things where I think that they just invent types so that they can have new archetype support. Not archetype but subtype support without having to worry about it applying to old members of that subtype.
So there's Machine, and then there's Cybers, or Cybsea.
What is it even called? New Yu-Gi-Oh type. It was the thing in like
Cybersea or Cybers. I don't know.
I think it might be that. I don't. Cybers or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, that was the big thing with the Lynx generation, I think. So.
Are they not just robots? Are they not machines? Do they have to be different? Because they're data. Okay, so like Digimon and then robots, which are separate.
Okay. Yeah, but they didn't need to be before.
Yeah, but the times, they are a changing. Anyways, this next series, Nick, I know.
Oh, right.
I know you. I know we still have a little bit left. I know you want to talk about this one. I know you do. I can see it in your eyes. I can hear your heart. You want to talk about it. You want that Kento Shinohara talk in the podcast again. You want to talk about Witch Watch. And look, I was right there with you when this series first started. It's not that great. I see your eyes kind of twitching a little bit. You need to go to a doctor?
I'm fine.
Okay. I was right there with you when this series started. I was like, hey, this series is really unfunny. And it gets better, sort of. Look, when there's a joke chapter, jokes don't always land. Sometimes you're like, look, I really like that you committed to this bit of a character who looks like they're from like a book that teaches language to like 6-year-olds and has an unnatural way of talking. It's unique. I don't know if I'd spend an entire chapter on it, but I applaud that you had the conviction to do it yourself because you really like this gag. But the series also has become more serious. And while at one point in time, yes, the main character did have to punch the dress off of the main lady character, those storylines have more or less stopped. And now it is actually just... I'd hesitate to call it a reverse harem series, Nick, because it has been clearly established at this point that Mui is meant for Nico and vice versa. They like each other. However, there are just a bunch of different monster boys who live at the house now. It's kind of like Pokemon. You just have to keep collecting different hot monster boys. So we have a Kenku boy, there's a werewolf boy, and guess what? New vampire boy just showed up. He's probably going to hang out with everybody. It's good times.
That's not even a dragon.
I'm sorry. What? Did you get distracted by a different... Going back to Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah, no. So he says, you can have my Basilius of the Evil Eye card. But Basilius of the Familiar of the Evil Eye is a fiend type. It's not a dragon. So, Protect Me Shugomaru So Daiki Ihara is a fake Yu-Gi-Oh fan. So we're not going to be talking about it. So, there.
Okay. Do you have any last thoughts about Protect Me Shugomaru you would like to get out before we
No. Go on.
Witch Watch, Nick. Look, I'll say this. It gets legitimately very heartwarming. You remember that chapter in Sket Dance, or the sequence of chapters where they talked about Switch's backstory and why he is the way he is? Yes. We get chapters on that level. There are absolutely small storylines that have you say like, oh, wow, this is deeply emotional in a way that I didn't think was going to touch me like this. A chapter about a girl who shredded a letter from, or had a letter shredded from her deceased mother that came in. And she was like, my dad destroyed it because I don't think I'm actually his daughter. And I don't think he wanted me to discover that fact. And Nico and the rest of the group, they decide to put the letter together intricately, like piecing it together slowly. And finally they get the letter. And it turns out it wasn't what she was thinking it was at all. The dad actually is her legitimate father. It's the mother who's not. And she didn't want her daughter to be sad before she went. And it's a very deeply emotional chapter. And she goes home and hugs her dad. And it's very sweet. And you're like, this is weird. Why is it like this? Last week you were just doing dumb jokes. Why is this week it's punching my heart like this? I don't like this. And then you realize you do like it because deep down you like the pain.
What?
I got a little too honest there. Nick, I'm just saying it's a good series with a lot of fun moments to it. Sometimes the joke doesn't work. And that happens. You just got to put up with it sometimes. But then other times, it's real good.
Well, that was a very interesting pitch. I'll give you that much. I think I might have thrown off your rhythm at one point when I got really caught up on the Yu-Gi-Oh thing. But that's what happens when you try and win me over with Yu-Gi-Oh and you don't know your shit. So
yeah, I'll say this: it's a heartwarming series. It's sometimes just a little bit silly, but has a big group of big dumb characters in it. I think you might enjoy it.
Fair enough.
All right, now, finally, Nick, this series, it's kind of been a joke up to this point.
I don't even. Oh, now I remember what it is. Of course, I've completely forgot about this one. Right.
I don't even know. Like, it's kind of been a joke up to this point. Like, Nick, I know you really want to talk. Now, this series, I do know that you want to talk about, Nick. You want to talk about it because you're always going on about it. You want to talk about that Jujutsu Kaisen.
I mean, I know that was the last one left, but it took me a while to remember it for some reason. So,
because you love it, you're always going on about it. You're always just like,
I always,
yeah, you're always talking. You're like, I love Mahito. Mahito is the coolest character. I hope this character shows up and kills more characters that Chris likes. Because you keep saying that, and I hate you for it. I heard you one night. You called my phone. You just whispered into my ear. It's like, I hope Mahito shows up and kills another character. You like, no, go away, you.
Are you projecting? Like,
I have some unresolved thoughts about Mahito that I need to get out. Look,
I mean, Mahito is an effective villain in the sense that I really don't like him. So.
Now, there's a lot of things that are going for this series. We talk about Jujutsu Kaisen. One, it's easily one of the biggest series in Jump right now. It's going huge. Anime is super successful. Everybody's talking about it. It's a big series. It's unquestionably the next big hit of Shonen Jump. Until something else comes along, maybe Mashal, if it gets a big anime, will catch on that way or something else. But right now, that's Jujutsu Kaisen's spot. The next Demon Slayer, some would say. I guess Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man probably overtake it at some point. But right now, this is Jujutsu Kaisen's spot. You have to rip it.
Yeah.
It's called Dead Hands. Which you can't do because curses work in a weird way. I don't even understand it. Which brings me to the big point here, Nick. Nick, I need you to help explain this series to me because I'm dumb and I miss a lot of details about it. And I forget it. And this is not the series for me when that happens. Sometimes a character shows up. I'm like, I thought that person was dead. And it turns out they were never dead. I don't know why you thought they were dead. And I'm like, I think I mixed them up with someone else. And then another character shows up and I'm like, I've never met you before. And then people in our chat are like, what are you talking about? This character showed up like 30 chapters ago and they were a big deal. And I'm like, I guess I just forgot because I'm dumb. I'm sorry. And I need you, Nick. I need you to explain things in this series to me with your big, your big, strong, smart brain.
I'm trying to think of some of the more complex stuff in Jujutsu Kaisen and how well I understood it. I think that I got it because, so I've watched the anime. Mm-hmm. And the anime basically ends on the fight with the demon woman who can like summon like plants and stuff.
Hanabi, I can't remember the tree person.
Yeah, I couldn't remember her name. And there is a bit of stuff in there that I think I remember being a bit confused by until the full explanation came. So I can definitely see like the kind of stuff you're talking about. I think it's not just in terms of the way that explanations are, stuff is explained, but like the way the information is given out interspersed with the stuff that is happening can be confusing. So I definitely see your point on that.
Yeah. So I would say, look, it's a big series, Nick. This is a big one. This is maybe the biggest one.
Yeah.
And we had a chance to add this into the recap previously. Not that long ago.
We did.
We had an opportunity.
People wanted me to do it. Yeah.
And then something happened and it just didn't happen. Sometimes things work out like that. You never know.
Yeah, it was nobody's fault or anything.
Nobody to blame. We're all equally to blame for it not happening.
Look.
In fact, it's just you guys who are to blame for this happening.
Whoa. Hey. Chris. Just because something is true doesn't mean you should say it.
I should have been more tactful. I understand.
Oh boy. All right. Jujutsu Kaisen, I do already like this series. Mm-hmm. I feel like I would enjoy it if we were to go over it on the recap. But should we add to the recap? Is that the last series that's the
last one? Those are all the series. So look, if you heard these series, like these sound interesting, I would like to know more about it. If you pledge to our Patreon for even just $1 a month, you get access to monthly other recap, another show that I do where I talk about all these series on a monthly basis and give you the updates and heads up on all of them. Now, one of those series is going to be leaving. Just a heads up. One of these series is leaving monthly other recap and invading weekly manga recap and taking over it like a parasite, ripping apart everything until it has assumed master control of everything. Which I really like the idea that you would add Protect Me Shugomaru towards it, and like Shugomaru just rips off One Piece's head to sit atop the throne of the corpse of Luffy. like, this is my magazine now.
Okay. You just like imagine, like giving like people, how people get into fights over like what's the best anime and stuff, and it was like, oh yeah, all these people who like My Hero Academia, yeah, the real king of shonen is coming through right now, yeah, or whatever. So you just like get into one of those fights and be like, Protect Me Shugomaru is the best.
Yeah, I dropped that on people. I'm like, you guys don't know the joy that is double Taisei? Where the fuck it was called?
Yeah.
You guys don't know Yui Camille Let's Loose?
Ironically, both with very similar premises.
You guys aren't Amalgama Destruction fans? Fucking posers.
So
or Distortion, whatever the fuck it was.
It was Amalgama Distortion.
I keep getting them wrong.
Oh man.
I'm like, you guys don't like Noah's boats? They're like, Noah's boats. I'm like, whatever. You guys you're not down with Neon Leishan?
Oh, you guys aren't down with Stealth Song?
Quiet music. They're like,
Quiet music.
I have this synonym, basically. It's the store brand version of all these manga.
Quiet music.
You guys don't like Construction Monarchy?
Oh God. Oh God. Okay, so I think that we should come to a decision here.
This is your decision.
Yeah, so I will explain to you what I'm counting down here in terms of. I think we'll go with like least.
Oh, okay.
To most. So my definitely no is going to be Protect Me Shugomaru because no.
I'm surprised Protecting Shugomaru is the worst of all the series.
Just above that. I don't know. For some reason, your pitch just really didn't do it for me. Mission Yozakura family.
Damn.
I don't know. Like I thought it was in with a chance.
Damn.
I don't know.
I stayed up all night working on that pitch.
I guess you just.
Did I tell you about how heartless and unappealing the romance between the two leads is?
Oh man, if you had done that, I might have changed my mind.
Damn. Oh well. Next time, maybe.
The opinions of Rolo T do not reflect the opinions of Nick of Time regarding
everything I say. Nick supports. Actually, all my opinions are just Nick's.
Blame him, not me.
Yeah. Send him your hate mail. Send all your complaints to at @YRollerTime at yahoo.the-internet.
Okay. I'll reach somebody, I guess.
Something's gonna get it.
We're gonna put above that High School Family because no, just gonna be a no.
A sports series. All right.
It's not a sports series.
They're playing volleyball seriously, Nick. I don't know what else to tell you. All right. We may not want to admit it, but that's what it is now.
Above that, we're gonna go with Sakamoto Days because it just. Look, wow. I just can't.
All right.
I just can't. I just can't with it. Then we're gonna go Ayashimon, because I feel as though I will probably one day still end up eating my words. Still very early on in the series' lifespan, and as you point out, literally nothing has changed really since the first 3 chapters. Amazingly, if you wait 3 more chapters after that, nothing really changes very much. Usually, so maybe we'll just put a pin in that. Come back to it later when Nick will feel even greater shame over, not picking it up early on. Above that, we're going to put Dragonball Super I think that would
What?
be a lot of fun to read, but I don't know. I knowing the way that the manga handles arcs and the way that it goes in inconsistent paces, I feel like there would just be a lot of frustration on my end in terms of flipping back and forth between why are we still doing this and why didn't we spend any time doing that?
But you get to say funny character names like Granola is powered up now and is about to fight Oil.
Okay, so
or sorry, Gas. Gas is his name.
Listen, Chris, you had your chance to make your pitch on this series, and you did not choose to go with.
I didn't tell you Granola's fighting Gas right now.
Is that actually what's happening, yes. Right?
One character is Oil. There's a character group called the Heaters, and their names are Oil, Gas, Elec, and I think something else. And Granola is fighting them.
All right.
Petrol. Okay.
Okay. Then above that, I can't believe it's this high, put Witch Watch. It's in with a chance, I feel like, because you did, in fact, really give me some pause on your pitch. And hey, you remind me of those good times with the mangaka and the great writing that they are capable of, as we have seen time and again from them. I really, honestly, I think that I gave this series a little bit too short of a leash. I got a bit too frustrated with it too quickly, knowing that, yeah, a lot of the series that, have come before this, there's stupid humor in them that then led to some really good dramatic stuff. Then again, you had much more patience for Skep Dance than I did, so.
But you liked Astro Lost and Space more than I did.
That is true, because it was, consistent. So, in terms of mixing the two, I should say. Then, I'm trying to make sure I'm keeping track of everything here. Then we're going to put, which honestly might be at the top of the list, if not for the fact that I'm pretty sure we're just going to have to pick another series besides it anyway in like a month. So, which, I mean, I guess we could just do that. I could just get caught up on it and we could just have a good time covering the end of it, and then we'll just cover something else anyway. Yeah. We could do that.
Could do that.
Then we're going, after that is me and Roboco. This isn't the stuff that's like, you know what? Would not mind covering this at this point. But me and Roboco usually doesn't really like do something for me in terms of like, I have something to actually say about this. And I kind of feel like you did say that Magu-chan, it's a gag series. A lot of times when Magu does more just strictly humor stuff, I do feel like we just kind of like say what the jokes are.
True.
And I don't really want to do that on other series. Then we're going to put Ayakashi Triangle.
Wait, holy shit! I forgot about Ayakashi Triangle. How is
probably
should have put it high?
Probably should have put it earlier. Look,
Ayakashi Triangle has more of a shot than Sakamoto Days.
Yep.
People are going to be mad about this.
No, I don't care. Look, I don't really want to put myself through the embarrassment of us dropping Ayakashi Triangle a third time, though. So, okay. Like, I don't want to risk it at this point. So it's probably going to be a no. And honestly, like, I say that, I feel as though sometime in the near future, like, Witch Watch and Ayakashi Triangle might, like, switch places, honestly. Like, depending on how each of them goes. So this is now in the realm of, like, okay, Nick would not mind if we, started covering these series in general. Then after that, let me make sure I've covered everything. Yes. Then Jujutsu Kaisen, for a very selfish reason, which remains the same as it was last year, which is I am enjoying the way that I am consuming Jujutsu Kaisen right now, which is just watching the anime and not getting spoiled by the manga. I'm sure it would be great fun, and also would probably be, in general, just good for the podcast if we did cover it. So there's a lot of things to be said about it there. I will not discount that. Then Four Knights of the Apocalypse, because, I think that we liked it when we were covering it. It was just a matter of like giving it a chance to kind of like lay out more of the plot, give us more to be invested in, which, as you have put it, it has.
Mm-hmm.
And then Blue Box is going to be my number one choice, which should not be a surprise to anyone because I like Blue Box. It would be a unique addition to the show because it would be a romance series, which I don't think we have regularly covered a romance series since back when we briefly, at the beginning of the show, had I've completely forgotten its name. It's just slipped my mind right now. But it was like the first series that we covered. It was
what? Skip Beat?
Skippy, yeah. I think we very briefly covered that at the beginning of the.
I guess I was like, I guess if you don't consider like harems would be, because I would say We Never Learn and Nisekoi.
I guess that's true. And it is kind of Elving Marvel Love Triangle. So, yeah. But in terms of like shonen romance stuff, we don't really have one of those otherwise that we are covering right now in terms of that being the focus of the plot. So that would be a nice change of pace kind of thing. So I personally feel as though that is like a good choice. But anything going down even as far as like would probably be good. And I wouldn't object too strongly, I think, to any of them, save for the fact that one of these series above them would be not getting put in.
But we can't add them all. We can only add one.
Can't. There's only so much time that we have on the show to discuss stuff each week. So
now the important thing: 1, which won the X Factor, and 2, which won the good ass cat category.
I believe me and Roboco won the X Factor. It's somehow, I think I rolled like a 19 on that one.
Which blows my mind because Ayakashi Triangle must have it must have really got something. There must have been a category I forgot about.
Per your instruction, I put a 10 on High School Family for category, but I counted that as a negative score. So there we go.
There you go. All right. Well, this is the big question, Nick. This is your choice. What gets added to the recap?
You're the one who's got Veto in the bank.
I'm giving it to you. I told you I'm giving it to you.
I don't know. This feels like a trap.
That was the fun conceit of this episode. Is like, hey, I'm going to use the Veto in the bank, but I'm giving it to you because I want to pitch all the episodes. I want to pitch all the series. Okay, well, I'm
still paranoid about this.
We have to end the episode at some point, so you need to pick something.
I still feel strongly that Blue Box should be the one that we cover.
Okay.
So.
All right. Blue Box it is then.
Okay.
I don't need to see my hands. No, there's no gimmick there. Yeah, Blue Box. All right. Next week, weekly manga recap. We'll come back with the regular episode, and we'll be talking about Blue Box.
Yes. I'll have to get caught up on it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, don't worry about that. It's not that long. It's what, 35 chapters? Something.
I've also got to read Liar Game, so.
Oh my God, we have a recommendation. Nick, we gotta end this podcast real quick.
Oh, I gotta get back to reading. What are we doing here talking about manga when we could be reading manga? Well, it has been nice getting to know all the stuff that's been going on over a monthly other recap. I didn't even know that you talked about Dragonball Super.
Yeah. I asked people, I was like, what do you want me to add? And people were like, 4 Nights of the Apocalypse. And some people were like, talk about Dragonball Super. I was like, fuck yeah, let's talk about Dragonball Super.
I've got a weird relationship with that manga.
Now having caught up on the original Dragon Ball, the franchise, is a fucking mind-boggling trip. It is. I know we'll eventually do an episode of Weekly Manga Recap on the original Dragon Ball series, and when it happens, we'll be able to get more into it. But Dragon Ball is fucking mind-blowing at times. You're like, I don't like when you read the first like 40 chapters, like how does this go on to become the biggest fucking anime franchise of all time?
Just a bunch of weird farting around with Goku and his weird friends while a bunch of pervy shit happens.
Yeah. Oh,
throughout.
Just horrid shit too. Like the first like 40 chapters, like not 40, it gets better eventually, but the first like 20 chapters are like legitimately some of the most uncomfortable, like, oh man, this is fucking awful.
Hey, remember when Master Roshi demanded a sexual favor from Bulma when she was like 14? Yeah, it's a thing that happens.
Yeah.
And it made it into the dub, by the way. I specifically remember, like,
I having seen it, they had to cut out a lot of things.
Oh yeah,
but there's still some stuff that gets it. Some of it they have to like gracefully change, like Oolong wishing for a hot girl's underwear became him wishing for the most comfortable pair of underwear in the world or something like that. But like, yeah, a lot of it you're like, whew, man, you had to do a lot knowing that this eventually becomes Dragon Ball Z and everyone fucking loves that thing. So
yes. Anyway, until the next time that Oolong turns into a weird monster in order to kidnap all the hot women of a village. That's how he's introduced.
That is a storyline.
We got to do how else to end the episode.
Well, we had to end it it's a regular episode. We had to end it with like the thing, don't we? The spiel.
Yes. So, if you want to listen to us talk more about wrestling and Yu-Gi-Oh tangents, check out all of the links to where you can find stuff, such as weeklymangarecap.podbean.com is where you can listen to all of our previous episodes. You can also listen to them on Spotify and on iTunes. The video version is on youtube.com/weeklymangarecap. I feel like Chris is going to do something, and I'm not looking forward to it. And Weekly Manga Recap video versions are on the YouTube. I knew you were going to do something. What are you doing? What are you doing? Have you been wearing those the whole time?
It's the money in the Veto contract!
That's not what it's called. You can't hear me right now. Now you can hear me.
It was never your choice, Nick! It was never your choice!
Have you been wearing those? Have you been wearing those the whole time?
Yes!
Okay. Are they comfy? I hope they're comfy.
They're a little bit. Hold on. Shut up. It's my contract. I pick what's going into the podcast.
Okay.
We're going to talk about PPP for a couple weeks, and then we're going to talk about Blue Box. The veto in the bank has been used.
We should just cancel the regular episode next week and just dedicate it entirely to PPPPPP discussion.
We're going to. There's definitely going to be some PPP discussion at some point. I think I may have broken the briefcase in the process of doing that as well.
I mean, it served its purpose, so.
No, we got to continue using this year after year. Whoever wins it the next time, if it's you, I'm going to have to mail it to you. I bought these pants 8 months ago. And I was just waiting for the day I got to actually use the briefcase.
You got just enough of the pants on camera, by the way, while you were doing the Ziggler hip swivel. I was like, are you wearing wrestler tights?
Excuse me, they're called dance pants.
Okay. I was resisting the urge to refer to them as Zubas, so.
Now carry on. I'm sure we have very important people to thank for everything to do with the podcast.
Yes. Said video versions that are on the YouTube feature an opening sequence by Wensleydale Cheddar and Milo Jack Stillitz. Thank you for creating those. They also occasionally feature title cards by Steve Man, whose artwork you can see wherever boobs are allowed to be drawn on the internet, including twitter.com/SteveManArt. You can follow us on Twitter, RoloT, Nick F. Time, WMR Podcast is the official podcast account. We do the show here on twitch.tv/RoloT Wednesdays, usually starting around 7:30 Eastern Time. Depending on, when all of the veto and the bank preps get done, I guess. So, we'd also like to thank everyone who supports on Patreon. If you support Patreon, as previously mentioned by Chris, you can listen to Monthly Other Recap, where all the stuff that we didn't pick, or I didn't pick, and also you didn't pick, in the end, will end up getting discussed anyway, because Chris reads everything in Shonen Jump.
I'll read everything. I guess technically not Ayakashi Triangle. I can't read that chapter. So, I did eventually, but yeah, go check it out. There'll be a new episode coming very, very soon. It's a monthly show, and it's good times.
Yes. And we also finally want to thank Ninja X3i and everyone in our Google server Google server, Discord server. The Google Sheet, maintained by Ninja X3i, keeps track of all sorts of helpful statistics associated with the show, including recommendations that we have previously taken and might do in the future. There is an entire long checklist of stuff that people have said that we should consider checking out. If you see something on there that you agree we should check out, you can add your name to it. If you see that something has not been added on there, add it yourself, as long as you make sure that it is not, among the series that we have already covered as recommendations previously. There are a lot of them. Because we've been doing this show for nearly 11 years, check out the stuff that we have covered previously. You can also use that to vote on awards and the MVPs and favorite series each week in the series that we cover.
Yes, absolutely. Good stuff.
Next time we'll talk about nothing.
Well, we're definitely going to be talking about
just
PPPPP.
Kidding. No, it was just a lie. We'll talk about Liar Game. You see? So I did there. I used deception, and you and your overly trusting nature didn't choose to see the real me.
Well, let's be 100% honest. In our relationship, I am 100% the now, and you are the Akiyama. That is 100% our relationship.
I don't. Well, I partially disagree on that because I am about as uncomfortable with continuing deceptions with people as now is. So,
but you're smart, and that's the important thing. And I'm the person that's just like, the guy's got hamsters. How bad could he be? Let's just listen to what he has to say as Mein Kampf is falling out of his back pocket. I'm just like, everybody should be able to enjoy literature, He's got those hamsters. Come on. Animals know how to trust people, don't they?
Oh, well, the hamsters are goose stepping. Oh, dear.
Oh my. All right.
That'll be next week, though.
That's it. Goodbye, everybody.